Guys and girls, welcome back to the vlog, playing 5-5-10 at the Hustler Casino in sunny Los Angeles, playing tight today, folding this 9-7 offsuit under the gun. Here's what I had for breakfast. Now that's out the way, let's get properly into the session. First real hand of note comes an hour and 20 minutes into the day. I pick up ace-king offsuit in the small blind. We've got the $40 straddle on for this hand. It folds all the way around to me and I raise it on up to $130 and I get 3 callers. We're going 4 ways to the flop here and it comes down ace-10-8 with 2 diamonds. Top, definitely worth a c-bet. I bet out for $175 and the big blind makes the call. The turn is a queen and I don't know if we want to bet ace-king here. Lots of hands now beat us, lots of straights and 2 pairs and things like that. So I check it on over to my opponent, happy to see him just check it on back. River is the 6 of diamonds, 9-7 gets there, all the flush draws get there as well. So I think we want to just check again here. Maybe we could throw out a small block bet, but I do decide to check it on over to my opponent. He is just going to check it on back. I announce ace-king, and my ace-king is good to scoop in the pot. Wasn't sure if I had the best hand on that really nasty run out, but nice pot coming my way. No time to count my stack though, because in the very next hand I pick up pocket 7s on the button. The $20 straddle is on for this hand. I raise it on up to $50 and the small blind puts in the re-raise. He makes it $165 to go. Now we're having a lot of fun today. Some of us are horsing around a little bit and I decide to call here and peel the flop out Twitch style, 1 card at a time. It is a terrible flop for my pocket 7s. I just fold versus the c-bet, but one of the other regs in the table is laughing as he tells me that he knows I had a small pocket pair there because that's how I peel it out on stream. I make a mental note to never ever do that in the game, no matter how giddy everyone is today, and we move on to the next hand, picking up ace-queen offsuit in the middle blind. The cutoff is a local pro who decides to limp in. He doesn't normally limp, so I'm a little surprised by this. I decide to raise it on up to $100 because the straddle is on. Big blind is going to make the call, the reg limper is going to make the call, and we go 3 ways to queen 9 deuce. Again top pair top kicker, and again deciding to c-bet. I bet out for $110. The cutoff is the only player to make the call here. I'm really struggling to put him on a range given he's limp called pre-flop. And when the 10 of club rolls off on the turn, I decide to check it on over to my opponent. I don't think he's going to have jack 8 or king jack, but it's a very connected turn and we're out of position and a lot of bad rivers. So I do check it on over to him. Happy to see him just check it on back. River's the 3 of diamonds, hashtag brick of all bricks. And I think we have the best hand really often here, so I bet out for $385. Just trying to get max value here with top pair top kicker. My opponent thinks for a very long time. He's in the tank for about 45 seconds or so before eventually...
Go. I think I'm good here.
It'll be on the vlog. It'll be on the vlog. All my bluffs make on the vlog. Very weird thing to say as he snap folds, maybe trying to get like me to show my cards or something like that. One of my 2025 resolutions is when I play live poker, stop giving out all this free information. Off to a decent start here, I'm at $450. The game is pretty good. Let's keep it going. Picking up pocket 6s on the button around 20 minutes later. Under the gun is limped in for $10 because there's no straddle this hand. The player next act is going to raise to $35. It folds all the way around to me on the button. I make the call. The limper is going to call as well, and we go 3 ways to king queen 6 with 2 spades. Bottom set, let's go. Under the gun is going to bet out for $75 and I unblock all the big pairs, I unblock all the draws. I'm not messing around here. I put in a healthy raise, I make it $260 to go. My opponent is not going to fold. Happy to see him continue here. He makes the call and we see an offsuit 10 roll off on the turn. My opponent checks it on over to me and I still want to keep betting here. Ace jack and jack 9 are kind of unlikely, to be honest, so I bet out for $425 and again my opponent makes the call. Lots and lots of bad rivers, but the offsuit 8 shouldn't really change anything. And once my opponent checks it on over to me, I fake tank for a little while, knowing exactly what I'm going to do. I move all in. My opponent snap calls. That's not good. I turn over my hand and he mucks his cards. Let's go. I was really worried I just walked into ace jack or jack 9 there, but my opponent could not beat it. I think maybe he had a hand like king 10 or king 8 or something like that for a 2 pair, but 2 pair does not beat a set. This is the key to live poker. Make good hands and get paid. This sends me up 2.3k for the day. Really nice pot coming my way. I am settled in for for a nice long grind today. The game is going to get a little drier. I'm going to go really card dead. It takes 90 minutes before I play my next hand of note. Really tough grind in that 90 minutes. I pick up King 9 suited in the small blind. A recreational player has limped in a middle position, and a very aggressive reg makes it $50 to go on the button. Now, this is normally a 3-bet if the button just raises, but when the button isolates, the range is a little stronger, so we want to 3-bet a little stronger as well. But this player has a very aggressive reg, so I decide to put in the 3-bet here. He's going to have lots of hands that most other regs won't have. I make it $230 to go because, like I say, I think he'll be isolating a little too wide, and I want to sort of re-isolate a little wider as a result. The limper is actually going to call the $230, and the reg on the button is going to come along as well. This pot is bloated out of nowhere as we go 3 ways to Jack 10-4 with 2 diamonds. Decent flop for my range. I've got the gut shot, the backdoor flush draw, the betting lead. I bet out for $230, just really want to take it down right here, right now. The limper is going to get out the way, but the button sticks around to make the call. Looking for a queen on the turn. Nearly, it is the jack of spades. I'm not sure if we want to barrel this hand. I decide to check it on over to my opponent. He is going to take this opportunity to take a stab for $425, and unfortunately, I have to just let it go. Really interesting hand. Like I say, I think my opponent is going to be quite loose pre-flop in that spot, isolating the limper, and I definitely want to re-isolate super wide. But yeah, nice hand to my opponent. 15 minutes later, I am in the double straddle with 8-6 of clubs. I have gone to the bathroom and come back into the game in the double straddle. The button is going to raise here to $100, and I am going to defend with my suited 1-gapper. We go heads up to the flop. It comes down 4-3 deuce rainbow. I've got a gut shot, I've got a backdoor flush draw, and we do want to play some leads on this board. Not a ton, but definitely some. So I decide to bet out here for $75, and my opponent makes the call. The turn is a jack, and I've still got 8 high, and a lot of hands that my opponent can call flop with that have to just fold. Lots of hands like ace-8, ace-9, ace-queen, king-queen with a backdoor flush draw. The list goes on. I bet again for $280, just hoping my opponent lets it go. But he does make the call. My plan is to just blast the river if I need to, but the river is an 8 to give me second pair. Definitely don't want to bluff now. We can beat hands like ace-4 and stuff like that. So I check it on over to my opponent. My opponent thinks for a little while here. As he's thinking, I'm working out what kind of bluffs that he can have. If he does decide to bet, maybe I want a hero call with my hand here. He actually gives me a big, long speech and then sighs and checks back. I turn over my hand. He's got ace-jack for top pair, top kicker. Really didn't expect to see that after the speech and the sigh and the check back and all that stuff. But yeah, top pair is going to beat my second pair, and my opponent is going to drag in this pot. Really swingy day so far today. I'm now only up $600, but hoping to trend upwards again when I pick up ace-king of spades in the middle blind. The hijack is raised to $50. Straddle is back on here. Cutoff is going to make the call. Small blind makes the call, and I put in the squeeze. I make it $255 to go. Every single player is going to make the call here. This pot is huge again as we go to the flop, and unfortunately for me, it comes down 7-6 deuce rainbow. I'm not going to see bet here into all these players. I check, and it just checks all the way around. Turn is the deuce of diamonds. The small blind leads out, and I just let it go. Small blind is actually going to bluff it off on the king of diamonds river with pocket fives and run into the nut flush. I am bleeding a little bit here now. Unable to win a hand, and now only up $40 for the day. Big sigh. But that could all be about to change here because the stream legend 3coin has joined the game. I'm really excited to play with this guy. I've seen him play on the stream a lot. He seems like a really nice guy, lots of fun to play with, and I'm really happy he's joined the game. I pick up queen 10 offsuit in our first hand of note. I raise it on up to $30. Middle position is going to make the call. Small blind makes the call, and the big blind is going to make the call as well. Big blind is 3coin here, and we see the flop come down 4-3-3 with 2 hearts. Action is going to check on over to me, and I throw out what is an ambitious c-bet on this board. I bet out for $80 into all these players. We definitely want to have more equity. In hindsight, really don't love this decision to c-bet. Only the small blind is going to make the call. The small blind shouldn't have much 3x here, so I'm not too worried about running into a super nutted hand. We see the 7 of hearts roll off on the turn. I've got that queen of hearts working for me, so I decide to keep betting here. I bet out for $200 $240 on the turn, and once again, after a few seconds, my opponent makes the call, looking for a little bit of help here on the river, and it is the ace of diamonds. Interesting river here, and when my opponent checks again, I think we definitely want to bluff here. I can make lots of hands fold, hands like pocket sixes, pocket fives, 5-4 suited, all the hands like pocket eights, pocket nines with a heart, all these types of hands that are going to really struggle to call. Even if my opponent's got like ace jack with the ace of hearts, is a bit of a gross spot for him if I bet again. So I bet out for $725. Really hope that my opponent doesn't call here. My opponent goes deep into the tank here. He's really thinking over his options. I am praying that he does just let it go. Eventually, he calls. I say you win. And he sheepishly rolls over his hand. He's got Jack 10 of hearts. Now, I'm a little taken aback by this. It is a bit of a nit roll from my opponent. He clearly wasn't thinking about raising. He clearly didn't love the spot. I am so shocked by this. I actually get up, run around the table, and put my face 2 inches from his whole cards as if to say, am I really seeing this correctly? All part of the fun here at the Hustler, in all seriousness. My opponent plays really well. I'm very friendly with this guy. It's all part of the fun, like I say. I think this is just a bit of a nit roll. It's not malicious. It happens from time to time. You got to think about how much my bluffs are printing, though. If he's got a hand like pocket nines with a heart, he's never going to call if he's considering folding Jack 10 of hearts here. But for me, this means I am now losing for the day. I was up 2.3k at peak and now losing. Too depressed to work out exactly how much I'm losing, and hoping that these pocket queens can put us back in the black here. My man 3 coins is in the straddle, and I know he likes to defend really wide, so I raise it on up to $75 from early position. Small blind is going to make the call, and 3 coin is gonna call as well. We go 3 ways to ace 9-3. What's more, coin is now gonna lead out for $25. Do I really want to raise here with another player behind? I just call, and the middle blind is now gonna check raise. He makes it $125 to go. Coin makes the call, and I am gonna be really honest with you guys. I am calling here with the intention of spiking a queen, nothing else. $100. See if we can bang off a mamacita. Let's go. No mamacita on the turn, but it is the 2 of hearts to give me the flush draw. So when the small blind bets out for $200 here and coin gets out the way, I think we've got a pretty clear call here now that we're drawing to the second nuts. I make the call, and the king of hearts bangs off on the river. Absolute pingu to give me the nut flush here. My opponent thinks for a little while and checks it on over to me. Very easy value bet. I've got the nuts here. I bet out for $700. My opponent sighs and snap calls. I turn over my pocket queens. He looks disgusted. I don't care there. This is lovely runner. Fortune favors the brave. I made a bit of a loose call to see if I could spike a queen, and I've only gone runner nuts instead. Back into profit now. I'm now at $500 for the day. Let's kick on and have a nice winning day now. Picking up ace queen of diamonds in the straddle. Coin is going to limp in from the middle blind, and I put in the raise. I make it $100 to go. 3 coin obviously never folding after he calls. He calls again, and we go heads up to the flop. It comes down king 3 deuce rainbow. Now, he loves to lead out. He leads out again here for $50. I don't think we want to raise. Our hand is kind of like too strong to bluff here, so I just make the call. We see another king roll off on the turn, and now he checks it on over to me. You could make an argument for throwing out a small bet just for protection, but I'd rather check back and like bluff catch on the river here, so I check it on back. We see the 8 roll off on the river. I'm not really sure if that changes anything, to be honest. I'm a little lost here as he bets out for $200. I've seen this guy play on stream. He's laughing and joking with everyone on the floor. He's definitely capable of bluffing with like any 2 cards here. So after a little bit of thinking, I flick in the call with just ace high, and I lose to the classic 6-3 suited. Sigh. He's got so many bluffs here, but he's managed to find a thin value bet, and he's managed to find an idiot to call him down with ace high. Yeah, nice hand to 3 coin. Very next hand, I'm going to pick up pocket jacks in the big blind. No straddle this hand for some reason. Middle position raises to $30. The cutoff is going to make the call, and then 3 coin puts in a very cute 3 bet. He makes it $75 to go in the small blind. I am salivating at the prospect of putting in the call 4 bet here. I make it $275 to go. Action is back on my man 3 coin, and he makes the call. We go heads up to the flop, and it is the cleanest 10 deuce deuce rainbow I have ever seen. What's more, 3-coin is going to lead out here, and he's going to lead out pretty big. He makes it $300 to go. Now, if I've got pocket aces or pocket kings here, I would just call. These hands need very, very little / no protection, but my jacks, they need a little bit of protection here, so I decide to get a little funky and throw out a min raise. I definitely want to raise, but I also want to induce 3-coin to 3-bet bluff. He's definitely capable of finding like a complete airball 3-bet jam here. So I make it $600 to go, hoping that he just sticks it in with any 2 cards. He actually folds his hand face up. He's got ace-8 offsuit. If I'd have seen that, I would of course just call. But like I say, my hand needs protection, but I also want to induce like a spewy 3-bet bluff jam or something like that. This is going to send me back into profit of $1,100 for the day, and the game is now really good again, picking up another premium starting hand here in the form of ace-king of spades. There have been 3 limps, and I put in the raise. I make it $75 to go. It's going to fold all the way around to 3-coin, who was like the 3rd limper in the hand, and he is going to back raise. He makes it $200 to go. Really interesting spot because he starts the hand with $1,000 or so. So if I just jam here, like I give him the opportunity to fold. So I decide to click it. This is completely ridiculous because he's only got like $1,000 to start the hand. I make it $600 to go. Like I say, if I shove, then he just gets to fold all of his complete air. But if I make it this size, he's going to be tempted to make the call. And sure enough, he does make the call. The stack to pot ratio is really low here as we go to the flop. It comes down queen 9-7 with 2 spades. I've got 2 overs, not flush draw. He should have flopped a pair really often here, or a gut shot or something like that. So with so little behind, he's got about $400 behind here, I decide to just put them all in. As he's folding, he actually says something really, really nice to me.
I'll tell you what, you're not your typical European.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it. That's the biggest compliment I've ever received.
Well earned.
Thank you, thank you. I gotta tell you, I'm sure 3-coin has played with a lot of Europeans in his time, and he must be sick of the sight of them like a lot of Americans are. Really nice to hear that I am not your average European. That's really, really, it makes me happy to hear that. But yeah, my man Coin, a lot of fun to play with, super nice guy. He's gonna bust out the game after a couple of hours of playing. Was so much fun to play with him. He's a great storyteller, gives a lot of action. I managed to snap this picture with him, like I say, just a complete legend of the game. I'm actually gonna play for another hour, chipping up really nicely in small pots that are not vlog worthy. Hands like this ace-10 of diamonds, this ace-king offsuit, just picking up small pots and tapping the table about an hour or so later, booking a nice win of $2,023, playing for about 8 hours. A lot of fun, really enjoyed the session today. Guys and girls, if you've enjoyed the show, please do click that sub button. It takes you 2 seconds and it really helps me out. I've got 1 LA episode left and it is absolutely incredible. It'll be out in a few days. Click the sub button so you don't miss it. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.